Hi, Jimmy from Glassmates here. I'm also a IWSC judge. Very proud to be. Been doing this for quite a while now. This year, within the IWSC judging panel, we were asked to judge a spiced rum, and we've thankfully, for the first time ever, been sent some of the product that we actually tasted. So not very often does this happen that you get to have it outside of the judging and actually see what it is and be able to put a bottle to that. So this bottle that you see to my left or right, depending on which way the screen's going to flip this around, is a bottle of spiced rum from a company by the name of Fr'um. Now, this is a extremely small batch. There are 326 bottles of this made every time there's a batch made, and around about 960 of them made per year. It's made by a lovely gentleman who is a bartender, and not a distiller, not a blender, not any of these things by trade, but a bartender with 20 years experience in the industry. He has come up with what I can only describe as a slice of home. Now, I am of Jamaican heritage. I'm not calling myself Jamaican before you start asking me where's the accent, etc., and what parish I'm from. There are answers to those things, but we won't be doing that now. But this is a great take on things that are very typically, but without being stereotypically Jamaican. So you've got a lot of spice in there, and the spices being cardamom, cinnamon, those kind of things that come up on the palate and the nose. But the main two ingredients that really set this apart are pineapple and smoky Scotch bonnet. Now, the first thing you get on the nose as soon as you smell it is you get the spices. So you get the knowledge is there that it's definitely a spiced rum straight off the nose. And it's very welcoming. It smells natural, doesn't smell of anything artificial. It smells of natural ingredients. Now, you don't get the Scotch bonnet on the nose, and typically you wouldn't get Scotch bonnet on the nose even if you was eating a food with Scotch bonnet in it. Now, what you do get is like a hint of honey, which is it's a joy. And then it's this rush of flavours. The pineapple comes up as almost like a citrusy kind of sweetness, and then you'd be like, where's the Scotch bonnet? Wait for it. There it is. It rides out on the finish and builds and builds and builds, and as I'm speaking it's building even more. It's delightful. Very much something that when we were on the floor for the judging panel and this came up in our test, there was some discussion around it and around whether or not it was any good. And my argument, which I remember clearly, was that the fact that the Scotch bonnet rides out for so long in a perfect spice but yet sweet note it's brilliant. It's what you'd want from something like this. You wouldn't want it to be like, say for instance, if you had a picante and the chili is just up there straight in your face. You want it to be like if you were having a great curry, where it just rides out on the end and doesn't just overpower the rest of the flavours that are happening to your tongue. So originally, when this idea was put together, it was originally going to be put together as an RTD, but due to financial constraints and etc. that go on around that, they weren't able to do this. And what happened was they instead put together this great rum using a base of rums from the Dominican Republic that are put together in their blending house alongside the spices of pink peppercorn, lapsang and cinnamon. Those are the main elements of this. The pineapple and the Scotch bonnet are actually batched as one, and each of these batches is done by hand, hence why there's such a small amount of liquid available. This is something that I'd love to see on a wider scale. It's a great component that could be used for cocktails. It's a great sipper. I've not had it over ice yet, but I'm sure it's great over ice. And actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go off and make a daiquiri with this. I'll be right back. Like I said, I'll be back with my DAC. Right, so just simple plain daiquiri. Rum, sugar, lime. So first thing you notice is obviously it's a lot darker. Normally when I'm making daiquiris, it's normally with light rum. This is a spiced rum, so it's got colour to it. And there it is. Ooh, there it is. Really standing up in in that drink. It's at the forefront. All of the spices are coming through. The Scotch bonnet, it's there, really far back on the back. Something I like to do normally when making something like this was, if I'd gone all into it, was I would have put together a syrup to go alongside it, made from Scotch bonnets and Demerara sugar, just to kind of back it up a little bit. But as it goes as a standalone on its own, it's a good drink. Well done on your medal. Well done. Well deserved.